What's up everyone, Howler here, coach of your Delta Gligars. Today I'm bringing you the Week 6 Team Builder for the BBR. We are going up against Sir Jorge De Great, fellow OG Breedject, and his team, the Falinks De Guadalajara. I do not understand why he changed his team name. I guess he has the San Ant Eggies and the Falinks De Guadalajara team names that he uses for his various draft league ventures, but when you're playing in the Egg League, why would you not use the San Ant Eggies team name? Like, he's using the Eggies in the UPA, which has nothing to do with eggs, and in this league, he chooses the Falinks De Guadalajara team name. Like, I just kind of feel like that's backwards. He could have used the Falinks name in UPA and stuck with San Ant Eggies in BBR, but that's just me. You can see his team on the right side of the screen. First and foremost, Happy New Year, everybody. This is going up on New Year's Day. 2021 is finally here. Fuck 2020. We never have to live in that time period ever again. 2021 still will not be without its challenges, but has, of course, a more positive outlook overall. So, Happy New Year, and hope you all had a fantastic holiday. Let's get into the team we are bringing now. It's been a thing in BBL that we've let off with our team captain, Calyrex Ice Rider, every week. I think now we're going to start leading off with Tentacruel every week, at least in the team builder portion, and we will be leading with Tentacruel in this game as well. We are a lead Toxic Spikes set. Toxic Spikes are very free against Jorge's team. There is no grounded poison to soik them up. They're very free. They affect pretty much everything on his team except Durant and Solrock, because Solrock has Levitate. They might give Girder a Guts boost, but I can live with that. And Colossal would be a likely candidate to carry heavy duty boots as its item anyway, so it might not affect that either. But they're very free, and we can poison the vast majority of his team. We do have to be careful about clicking them with Hatterene around, because Hatterene can magic bounce the Toxic Spikes away, and my only way of getting rid of the Toxic Spikes on my side will be to pivot out into something like my Cobalion or my Moltres, which neither one of them will be affected by the Toxic Spikes, and then pivoting back in my Tentacruel to soak them up, because I actually don't have hazard removal on the team this week. We're not bringing Rapid Spin Tentacruel, and we don't have Defog on the Comfey. I don't feel like hazard removal is necessary. The only mons that he has as set hazards on his team are the Mamoswine and the Colossal, and obviously Tentacruel deals just fine with both of those, especially since we're running Sash lead. I don't need to run any bulk. I can just run maximum offensive investment, modest max speed. I'll be outspeeding the Mamoswine. I didn't care to invest to outspeed Sharpedo because I don't think, like, if Sharpedo leads, then cool. It shouldn't be able to, well, it might be able to knock me out in one hit with Psychic Fangs, but I just really don't think Sharpedo is a good lead mon in general. If it leads, it will probably want to click Flip Turn Out on most things. But anyways, we'll be taking one hit from the Sharpedo anyway, and we can set Toxic Spikes up, because he would expect Sludge Bomb to come out as an attack, and he doesn't want to be switching Hatterene into a Sludge Bomb. So that's going to be the Tentacruel. We're going to lead, and just depending on what he gets up, we may have a good offensive matchup, or depending on what he leads, because if he leads something like the Mamoswine, then I would probably just want to Scald and get a bunch of damage on that thing, because Mamoswine is the biggest threat to my Dragapult. Dragapult has a ridiculous matchup in this game. Jorge's only Ghost Resist, doesn't have any immunities, and his only Ghost Resist is Sharpedo. If Sharpedo comes in and gets poisoned, it drops to Choice Specs Hex. Dragapult just goes ham on Jorge's team. Honestly, Jorge's team really does not have much defensive synergy going for it. His team last season, he had the Serene Grace Flinch Core with Jirachi and Togekiss, and he Thankfully, we avoided him in our schedule, so we didn't have to go up against that annoying core, and he didn't have the opportunity to hack us out like he hacked out so many of his opponents last season. Not off to such a great start this season, though. He is 0-5, and yeah, we're going to kind of look to pile on there because we need every win that we can get in this very competitive season of the BBR. So we have Shadow Ball and Hex because, you know, we need both because we might not necessarily get our Toxic Spikes up depending on how he decides to lead against my team. So Shadow Ball and Hex are both very free. Dragon Pulse is basically just there for Alolan Executor if that comes. Like, I have no reason to click any other attack besides my Ghost Stab. There's no reason for me to want to U-turn out on anything. I just click Specs Attack against whatever is in front of me. We have Surf as well, because Surf hits Mamoswine super effectively. It hits the Colossal for 4 times super effective damage. So I don't anticipate me having to use... Really, I don't anticipate me having to click either Surf or Dragon Pulse in this game, but they're there as backup options, just in case they hit the Mons that are sitting in front of me harder. He has Regieleki on his team, so it's a good idea to bring your ground type against a Regieleki. There's not really much that Regieleki can do against Diggersby outside of like Assurance and Acrobatics. And I guess Assurance could be kind of annoying if I'm switching in on Stealth Rocks, because I mentioned I don't have removal. And I switch it on Stealth Rocks and Assurance because it becomes double power, but it won't be double power on the following turn. And, you know, like maybe he's going to want a Hyper Beam or Explosion, but if he goes for Explosion, yes, it might knock me out, but I will happily trade my Diggersby for his Regieleki, because that's one thing that could outspeed Dragapult and do lots of damage to it, so... yeah, this is basically, if Regieleki's around, Diggersby has to be preserved at all costs. We just switch in Diggersby every single time Regieleki hits the field. I'm actually debating a move change on this right now, because if Regieleki brings... Well, no, I'm not. I'm going to leave it as is. I was going to say, if Regieleki brings Screens, I may want to carry Brick Break on this Diggersby to get rid of the screens immediately. However, I do have an Infiltrator Dragapult that doesn't care about opposing screens, so I don't think Brick Break is super necessary here. I'll just run with the moves that I got. We got U-turn so that, like, again, Jorge's switch-ins to Diggersby do not exist. Like, he just does not have switch-ins to Mons on my team whatsoever. I can click Earthquake very freely. We got the Soft Sand to boost the power of my Earthquake. U-turn, we can pivot out against an incoming Slowbro because, you know, Slowbro could potentially not be 2-hit KO'd by Earthquake. So we'll U-turn out on that thing because, you know, we can't risk Earthquake not knocking out Slowbro. We got to keep Diggersby around for his Regieleki. Gunk Shot is there specifically for Hatterene. If Hatterene gets up a Trick Room, and I don't have my Comfey around still, that thing can rip a hole through my team, and I don't want to allow that to happen. So if he brings in Hatterene against this and is bulky enough to be able to take a hit, we could go for the Gunk Shot to try to knock him out. And Fire Punch is there just for Durant if we no longer need our Diggersby and we don't have switch-ins to Durant, which most teams don't, or a lot of teams don't. Then we can just stay in, hope to live a hit from the Durant, click Fire Punch, and get rid of that thing. So, next is going to be our Mamoswine switch-in. It's an Air Balloon Cobalion. So we can switch in. As long as our Air Balloon is intact, we will not take super effective damage from Earthquake. We are running enough speed investment to always outspeed Jolly Max Speed Mamoswine. And we have enough special attack investment to have a very solid chance at KOing Durant with Focus Blast. Yes, we have a lot of physical or special offense on our team this week, excuse me, because mainly because the majority of his team is more physically bulky, and we just want to take advantage of. We want to make sure we can hit Durant as hard as possible because that's something that can deal a lot of damage to our team and a mon that we don't appreciate switching into. So yeah, that's like everything on our team this week is special attacking except for the Diggersby. So Flash Cannon hits it hits the Mamoswine for more accurate damage. You know, Focus Blast, otherwise known as Focus Miss. Volt Switch is really nice because Slowbro is a likely pivot into the Cobalion, seeing as it resists both of our stabs. We do have the option to set rocks as well. Again, have to be very careful about potential Hatterene switch in. If Hatterene is expecting me to go for a fighting type move, then I definitely don't want to be clicking rocks because it can pivot in on a fighting type move and resist that and quad resist it. But if it's anticipating a steel type move, then I may have an opportunity to get my rocks up. I don't want him to bounce back rocks on my side of the field if he hasn't already got them up on my side of the field. Because I mean, my team isn't totally crippled by rocks being up, but obviously I prefer them not to be up, and I'm relying on the Toxic Spikes being the hazard that puts in the most work against his team. So Stealth Rocks aren't essential, they're just kind of there as a fourth move slot. Speed for Mamo, Special Attack for Durant, and then the rest into Physical Bulk, basically, so that we can take hits from his big two physical threats better. Comfey is here with Giga Drain as its only attacking move because it matches up really well against his Mamoswine. Its priority to hit his hit his Mamoswine and out prioritizes his Ice Shard, and it will 2-hit KO. It should 2-hit KO his Mamoswine as long as it's not Assault Vest or Rindo Berry or something like that. And Giga Drain also hits the Sharpedo super effectively. So. Sharpedo should be O-code by Giga Drain. Giga Drain and Draining Kiss they have the same damage output against Sharpedo. So really, we kind of invite Durant in with this set. Unfortunately, that's the only drawback to running this particular Comfey. Giga Drain's the only attacking move, and this is also our insurance policy against Hatterene. If we're ever put into a position where Hatterene can set up a Trick Room, we can bring in this Comfey, set up a light screen, and make sure that his Hatterene doesn't rip a giant hole through our team. So we definitely want to be preserving this Comfey as long as the Hatterene is around. So we can set up, if we switch this in as he sets up a Trick Room, we'll have to eat a very strong attack from him on the first turn of Trick Room, but then we can set up our light screen, and then we'll have priority synthesis so we can keep ourselves healthy, and we can just stall out his turns of Trick Room until the last turn of Trick Room. We can get a slow U-turn out into something like our Diggersby or something like our Dragapult that can deal lots of damage to it after Trick Room has expired. I think this is a kind of a new sort of set that we're bringing with Comfey this week, more of like a team support set, and it's not necessarily like a sweeper set. So I'm looking forward to bringing this type of Comfey to this game. And then the sixth Mon, like last but people say last but not least, but this very much was the last Mon added to the team. This is insurance against Durant. So we're Choice Scarf with a very defensive EV spread. So we can switch in on an attack from Durant, and it'll most likely knock us below 50%, and we will get our Berserk boost, and then we'll outspeed said Durant as long as the Durant itself is not Choice Scarfed, which could potentially be really scary for me to have to deal with, a Choice Scarf Durant, because that would outspeed Dragapult. A Durant that's not scarfed, like I can just bring in Dragapult on a free switch and click Specs Attack and feel really good about my position. But I'm just hoping that he doesn't bring Scarf Durant really. I have to run, so I have just enough speed to outspeed max speed Jolly Durant. And then I have to run this amount of bulk because if he gets rocks up, Moltres will come in on the rocks. I don't have any way to get rid of him, so I need to make sure that I can take one round of rocks plus a Jolly Banded Iron Head from the Durant, and we will always be able to take that combination of attacks. Even if rocks are not up, an attack from him should knock us below 50% so that we do get the Berserk boost and we can knock him out with a Fiery Wrath or an Air Slash or something like that. We could also potentially use this as a pivot into the Slowbro. We could use both the Comfey and the Moltres as pivots into the Slowbro, but I think I would prefer my Moltres to get Toxiced over the Comfey. So depending on what he's got left on his team, I'll have to choose whether or not my pivot into Slowbro is the Comfey or the Moltres. We'll see. Moltres also gets Hex, so Hex, as with Toxic Spikes up, Hex is going to be a more powerful attack than Fiery Wrath, I believe. Actually, that's not true. Fiery Wrath will still be will do slightly more with the stab boost, but Hex actually, well, see, Hex hits Hatterene super effectively, whereas Fiery Wrath does not, due to its partial fairy typing, but yeah. So that's going to be our team this week. I hope you're looking forward to the match that goes up tomorrow. If you liked this team builder, make sure you leave a like on the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel to keep up with all of our amazing Draft League content, and yeah, we'll see you tomorrow for the match.